If time travel were possible, this is most likely what you would see in Centralia, Pennsylvania, a small bustling community of a couple thousand people dedicated to living a quiet community life. But a horrible mistake in 1962 changed everything. This is the story of Centralia.
We didn't want someone to die before action was taken on that fire. And the potential was there for someone to die. It was very definitely there.
In this general area, about 20 years ago, was an abandoned strip mine that was being used as a garbage dump. And somehow the dump had caught on fire. How it caught on fire is of no importance anymore. But an exposed coal seam was also ignited. And feeble attempts at that time were made to put the fire out. They had worked rather diligently, but apparently not diligently enough, because the fire was not extinguished then, and it's been downhill ever since. The area, as you can see now, is backfilled. It had been backfilled several years ago. A clay seal had been put on top of the fire with the hopes that this would smother the fire, but when it got into the exposed seam, it just traveled in that seam, and it's gone in like at least 3 directions.
If you go to Centralia, Pennsylvania, you won't see a raging fire. What you will see is this: smoke, steam, and toxic fumes. Coal mining was the main industry in this predominantly Irish Catholic community until the fire posed too much of a danger and the mines were closed. Loss of jobs was only the beginning. What followed was the slow disintegration of not only houses and streets, but also the hearts and minds of 1,000 people. People whose ancestors came here as early as 1841 to escape the Great Potato Famine of Ireland. What followed the fire and loss of income was a 20-year nightmare that dramatically changed the complexion of Centralia. Centralia, Pennsylvania, a small mountainside community, is a 2-hour drive north of Philadelphia. It's about 4 blocks wide and a mile long.
Hi everyone, Anthony here with Ace's Adventures, and welcome to my special documentary on Centralia, Pennsylvania. I mentioned we were going to be doing some things differently in 2019, and here is a prime example. Centralia is a place that I have been to 3 or 4 times. Every time that I'm in this region, I always have to stop here because it just amazes me, this place. And even though there is nothing much to see here, the story is incredible. This is going to be a briefer documentary compared to those that are out there. There are several that are much longer, but in my typical style, I wanted to keep it short. So, in short, here's what happened in Centralia. Every single year, the town had a trash fire that they burned. They burned the town's trash in a certain part of the region. And in 1962, they had a trash fire like normal. And the fire leaked into one of the seams of the underground coal mine. And that was disaster. The fire spread throughout the entire town, and eventually started leaking toxic chemicals, carbon dioxide and other gases, into people's basements and homes, and causing all kinds of terrible, terrible problems. People fought the government to fix it. There was never a conscious effort made to do the right thing, and basically the town was for naught. After futile resistance from the residents, they were basically forced out of their homes through eminent domain. The government leveled all of those homes and basically turned this place into a ghost town. The fire is still burning to this day, not as prevalent as it was. It moves and up and down in the region, and they say that it could burn for another couple hundred years. There are about 3 or 4 more residents that are left in this town. This town is down to a single-digit residency, and in 2013, the remaining residents were allowed, as they settled with the government, to live out their lives, considering the fact that the government now owns their property, but they can stay in their homes until they finish their lives out, and at that point the government will declare eminent domain on their homes and then pretty much bulldoze the town, and it will be completely non-existent, even though it's almost at that point right now. You're going to see some more footage here of what Route 61 used to look like, the major highway into Centralia, and I'll be back with some more information in just a little bit.
The mine fire burns all around here, and this week a reminder surfaces just a half-mile away on Route 61.
Pretty scary. I think it's pretty dangerous, too. This guy's brave.
The ground in this wooded area just outside Centralia sends off powerful heat waves. Sulfur residue is everywhere.
Can you see it good?
Yeah, cool sulfur.
Police will patrol the area this weekend. PennDOT plans to put up no parking signs along here Monday. Right now, the curious keep coming, getting close for a better look. I mean, is this unsafe? Kids have been coming around here looking at it. There's no barricade.
Well, it could be. I mean, you never know what's going to happen under the ground.
To give you an idea how solid this ground is, or isn't, take a look at this. It's fresh asphalt put on Route 61. It's laid down here every several months because the road keeps subsiding as the coal burns underneath. And sometimes the asphalt has to be put in a foot deep. The Office of Surface Mining doesn't think this situation is an emergency, requiring a barrier to keep people away. The agency says these fire holes crop up all the time, just not this close to the roadway.
In 1993, they closed off Route 61, which you're seeing now, the major highway into Centralia, and this is all that remains. A broken and tattered highway, now affectionately known as the Graffiti Highway. Tourists travel here from all over the world to see this place and remember what it used to be. A national tragedy for sure that was not handled properly, and in turn caused a lot of residents to lose their memories and everything about this place that they loved. A small, bustling, Midwestern Pennsylvania community, just like you and I. Similar to my mall adventures, this place gives me an eerily similar feeling where you think what this place could have been. Lost opportunity and poor management of the government in this situation to get this handled, when in turn they had several opportunities to dig out the trenches and stop this fire before it spread. But here we sit in 2019, where there's nothing but pretty much 2 or 3 residents that remain until they get to live out their lives, and then the town will be no more. John Lokaitis was a resident that was made famous through the amazing documentary The Town That Was on YouTube. I highly, highly recommend checking that out.
Actually, the unique thing about Centralia, we don't own anything any longer. Back in 1992 was another turning point, and that's when the program suddenly changed from voluntary to mandatory. The state took steps. They wanted to, after, like I said, they just spent, thousands of dollars to fix up these remaining homes. And then in 1992, there was a policy change, and they invoked the powers of eminent domain and condemnation, and they said that everyone would have to leave. The government owns everything in town, the buildings, the ground, everything. So the only thing basically I have is the clothes on my back and the furniture in the house. I've been living in that house since basically for the last decade in government-owned property. A lot of people call us squatters. Everything is, all the legal steps are in place where they could put us out anytime they wanted to, but they haven't forced the issue. I think it's basically because of the age of the people. It would be such bad press, to show, sheriffs coming in and removing, like, say, our 87-year-old mayor from his home.